Hello. Hey, Rance. Hey, Cody. Hey, everybody who might be watching this on YouTube, maybe later. All right, let's just go ahead and jump into it. Gonna do defensive review for the most recent bracket. Shouldn't take too long, I don't think. And then maybe we'll play some games, or maybe we'll just head back over to Bimodal stream. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. So, this bracket was interesting in that when I first got into it and saw who all the opponents were going to be, 3 of the 8 of us, so myself and 7 opponents, 3 of them had Galactic Legends Ray, and my first week matchup had Galactic Legends Ray with her ultimate, which is like, the best of the best currently in the meta. So I was like, oh, this is going to be just terrific. Yay! Only 3. Tankini knows. Um, but we set plans into motion, and miraculously, all 3 of the owners with Galactic Legends Ray lost in week 1 somehow. Plus, we won, so we didn't have to face any of the other 2. So it was pretty fun, pretty interesting, and this will be a look into the way that went. So let's start by listening to the old me from 6 days ago. We'll go back in time. Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Future Hutch. I just woke up. I'm exhausted. Okay, here we go for another Grand Arena. This is the final push to Kyber. You can see it right here. We have less than 1,000 points to go. If we could just get some full clears, or if we could just get some wins, that'll be huge. But the deck is stacked against us in our bracket. We've got 3 people with Galactic Legends Ray, up to and including our first opponent, who also has her ultimate ability unlocked. So this is one where I've gone back and forth on how to tackle it. And I think we're going to have to, if we stand a chance of winning this, we have to win it through defense. We're not going to be able to full clear them. Fortunately, we do stand a chance. Our Sith Empire is faster than theirs. They've got a stout Ray, obviously. It's the best in the game right now. They also have a very stout 501st team. But once you get past that, there's not a whole lot. Like, they definitely run low quicker. Um, so hopefully we can set a strong enough defense to stop them in their tracks, um, and get the win, which would definitely be ideal to do that. Um, we're gonna go ahead and set the same fleet that we always do. This has done the best for us, and until we get this one up and running to where we could use it on offense, we'll just keep using it on defense. I am 20 out of 100 shards towards a 7-star malevolence, and of course they're getting closer to 6 stars. Once those both hit 7 stars, then maybe we'll start seeing that a little bit more on offense and move Negotiator to defense. Now, I have gone back and forth on which teams to place where. So we already know the teams that we're going to use. And this is definitely by far the hardest defense we've ever set. I don't really want to use these 3 down south. So my worry here is that they're gonna get through these 3, which I'm banking on them getting through these first 3, but I need enough indecision in other places to make them not just go straight for um, Oh, come on. So what I don't want to have happen is them clear this and then just go straight for top. Because if they are smart, that's what they'll do. They'll know. Most likely, I expect their Ray to be down here. That's what we've seen from other Galactic Legends owners, and that's going to block off the bottom again. So we are going to have to go straight north, and then two down here. And that's the best we're going to do. So I'm bringing enough offense for 6 teams plus ships. That's as good as we're going to get. So we have to, like, if they clear here, they and they can't clear either of these, like we've seen in some past matchups, that's ideal. So we have to put enough strong teams in both of these to where if they get through here, they get stopped there. And I'm thinking what I want to put down here are teams that are going to be strong enough to stop them. So we know for a fact, first off the block is our Darth Revan team. This is our strongest team. It's going to require the most resources. We've seen them beat General Skywalker before. This guy's General Skywalker might just be good enough to beat it. It really should be. We're faster than his Sith Empire, so we should have a leg up there. If we can stop those 2 teams with this team, it could be over before it begins, and that would be obviously ideal. I think the next team that I want to set down here is Grievous, because that's one that he'll use his Jedi Knight Revan against. So I do think that I like that idea. The problem with putting it up top, like I would kind of originally think to do, would be he knows what he needs to beat it, right? So it would be an easy thing for him to clear up at the top. Um,
Hey, thanks for the
the other
follow,
thing
Leo.
that I'm thinking right now is
We're
to
listening
move
to
Geos back down
me
as
from a
well.
week ago, but
Again, it's one
I'll be
that
back
we
live
know
here
he
once
knows what
this
to
is
use
over.
against it, so I don't want to leave it in a vulnerable position. Instead, let's just take it off so he knows that he's going to have to use, Jedi Knight Revan here, is what I would imagine. He'll use Traya here, which is what I'll imagine he'll try. And then he'll do what he can here. If he manages to clear this with just General Skywalker in one shot, that's not great for us. That would still leave him with plenty of stuff to go around. That would still leave him with his Sith Empire team, which he could then split up and get a Malak solo on. Um, he would still have Nest. He'll have whatever resistance he doesn't put on defense. He'll have a secondary clone team, probably with like Rex lead or Fives lead or something. If he doesn't put them, again, this is all if he doesn't put it on defense. He'll have Padme still. So we really want to be conscious of that. So up here, we are going to go with our Shock T team. I think it might be just a little bit better this way for both defense and offensive purposes. We'll throw in both of our Night Sister teams up here because these are a little bit trickier teams, and now it's not forcing them to choose what to go through here first. Because we saw with the last guy, he just overpowered it, right? So we want them to maybe have to make that decision when they're a little bit deeper into their roster. Um, Now, I could very clearly, if they can save their Sith Empire, I could see them using Sith Empire here to overpower that one. Padme here, CLS here, um, and then that's all not good. It may be something like Malak here or something, but that's probably our best shot at that. And then in the back, we're gonna go here, and we are just going to put these on defense, which is the strongest back row that we've ever set. And the fact that there's 2 teams back here that we've never used on defense should throw in a little bit more of a wrench. If they scout me like I scout my opponents, they're probably going to be thinking that I'm not going to have too strong of a back row. So we're hoping to kind of catch them off guard with these. Um, and who knows, he could still full clear us and we're done. Uh, if we lose, we lose. This gives us our best shot at winning. So you guys already know what happened. I won't know for a few more hours, but I will be streaming that as I stream all of my GACs live, shortly after it goes live every single time. So back to you, future Hutch. Gee, thanks, buddy. So I probably completely overthought this battle out because yeah. So here's all the attacks he did. He did two whole attacks. This is why this part's going to be really easy to go through. So he went twice against our Darth Revan team. First with General Anakin Skywalker, which is the one that I was like, okay, he should be able to clear that using his General Anakin Skywalker. No, he could not. It looks like he barely did any damage to it as well, which is surprising to me. I'm not sure how that all unfolded, but basically my team kicked his ass. He tried again with Padme. He made a little bit further, but even then, didn't do so well. And I guess he just rage quit after that. I had already cleared up to his Galactic Legends Ray at that point, and then that was it. He could have easily have just ignored that team and tried to beat me on efficiency everywhere else. He didn't want to, or ran out of time, or just didn't care. I don't know. I didn't have a chance to talk with him, so that's what happened in that one. And we beat the strongest team in our bracket, who had an ultimate Galactic Legends Ray, and then we moved on. So that was pretty good. I couldn't complain about that one myself too much. And then we head into the next matchup here. Um, so I only have one more video because I set the exact same defense again in round 3. So it's just going to be this one recording of it, and then we'll review both the second and third rounds. And then we probably move on to something else. So let me pull that up. Okay. So we got that up, and we will disappear, and we'll watch myself again.
Okay, well, that round was interesting. Let me tell you. So that changes a lot about how we tackle the rest of this because I feel a lot better about a lot of things. We're going to continue to try to get this one. We just need Vader to kill something. We'll get that in time. We should be able to get this, especially if we can full clear these last 2 rounds. We should be able to get that this time around. We should be able to get this time around as well. So we're in pretty good position to make Kyber. That's the good news. Bad news is we've got this guy in our way right now, and he's got a solid roster. He doesn't have any of the GLs. He's preparing for Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, but he's got a good rest of his team as well. He's got a strong 501st. He's got a strong Sith Empire, Grievous, all the usual suspects that you have in here. Padme. Of course, he's got a lot of strong First Order as well, and a strong Scion. So one thing that he likes to do is do geos with just Traya and Scion. But he does not have him crit avoidance modded. So hopefully our geos can do well. We'll see. We won round 1. On to round 2. Now, I've debated back and forth about what I want to do here. For the most part, we're going to go back to what we've been using as sort of our generic standard defense here. But the big debate is whether or not to put our Sith Empire on defense. We are faster. We have the faster Darth Revan and the faster Bastila Shan Pollen? His Malik is faster than our Bastila, though, which adds an extra interesting wrinkle. Um, I decided to go with this one because we don't really need, based on what I've seen him put on in the past for defense, I don't think we're going to need our super um, debuff remover. Excuse me. So I think we'll be better served with this and then saving Rex because I think we might need Rex's tenacity up for one of his Night Sister teams. So we're going to go with it this time. And of course, we're going to go with our typical North Wall up here. These are our more predictable teams. We're just looking to shed the right amount of banners with some of these, like the Grievous team and the Geo team. We're hoping to get, 3 banners with these two teams. Not really sure what to expect from this because it's one of those things where if you have the right stuff to clear it, it's pretty easy to clear it, but you have to have the right stuff. And then we put our trickier teams down here, the ones that are really going to make you think. These are the teams that have just been our bread and butter. They have just done good work for us, including the Darth Revan team, which we're going to go ahead and put on defense. And hopefully it didn't wind up biting us in the ass by going a little lighter on offense. We might get stuck. We might not. We'll have to see. And then, of course, we're switching back to this sort of a defense with our First Order, our Dooku team. I tried to put in Stormtrooper Han this time as a lead down there. I don't know if it'll go any better or any worse. It's probably going to perform about the same, I would imagine. It's not a really strong team. And most people just blow it away with something that's just going to overpower it, and that's fine. A lot of people even just like solo nest it, and that's fine. That's whatever. We do the same thing. So that's our defense. We'll see how it do. Hopefully we get some nice holds and move on to the championship round. Back to you, Future Hutch. You've got to analyze this shit.
And analyze this shit we shall. Thank you so much. Alright, so both the guys that we faced in round 2 and round 3 had very similar rosters. So we just wound up setting the same defense each time. This guy started off just like we figured that he would with his Traya Scion duo, and he timed out. So he killed 2 of them, but then he just didn't have the damage to take on our GBA, and I've been there before. This is why I stopped trying to use just Traya and Scion against Geos in 3v3. The damage just isn't there. He just can't do enough damage. So he timed out. He went back in with Wampa and failed, which that's kind of funny. And then he wound up having to burn Han Solo, CLS, and Old Ben. And he still lost several banners off of that as well. Then he went after our Sith Empire team. Ours was faster. Obviously, he got RNG to go his way. He was able to clear it, but it was kind of a costly win with 2 deaths. He cleared our Grievous with Jedi. That's very typical. 2 banners. Okay, I'll take that. And then he went after our Night Sisters, and he did not fare very well. He tried some Jedi training Rey. He tried some bounty hunters. He took a little break from the Night Sisters at that point and went after our Shaak Ti, which he had no problems clearing, but we burned several banners. So that's always nice to see. And then he went back to Night Sisters for 4 more battles, for a total of 6 battles. And he burned his Shaak Ti with Grandmaster Yoda and Ahsoka. He burned Thrawn with some other guys, I guess just damage or whatever. And keep in mind, my Night Sister team, it has no tank on it, so Obviously, you just try to hammer Daka as hard as you can. He just couldn't do it before Spirit probably lit him up and Plague. Then he tried Nihilus, and Nihilus couldn't do it. And so eventually he had to just give up and call in the big dogs and cleared it with General Anakin Skywalker. That freed up ships. He went and played in ships for a little bit, and then he went back down to my south wall through one thing, his geos at this Newt team that we like so well, and just barely even scratched it. So at that point, he gave up. If he hadn't gotten so hooked on this Night Sister team, he might have been able to do more, but he just ran out of resources. And because of that, he did not clear our bottom front wall. He never even saw the back wall. So great battle. I was actually got to talk to him a little bit in DMs, and he's a great guy. That was a lot of fun. The next guy had a very similar roster as far as building the roster goes, but then the teams that he set on defense and the teams he used on offense were not your typical teams, which I really appreciated and had fun with it. It really did just become a battle of efficiency. We lost. We both full cleared each other, but we lost because we weren't as efficient as he was. We failed 2 battles, one here, and then one a little bit later. And he only failed 1 battle. Neither of us were particularly banner efficient that day. I didn't get any of my solo wins, which is usually what I bank on. If I had simply gone with Traya to begin with against that team, then we could have done a solo nest in the back against probably either that or one of the other teams or the Rebel team that they had back there. And then we probably would have been in a better shape to take care of that. It would have gone differently and we probably would have won, but we didn't, and that's fine. We live and learn. That's why we do these. He started with the Sith Empire team with his General Skywalker, and he lost. So now we're seeing repeatedly that people are trying to tackle my Sith Empire team using General Skywalker and losing. He got it good, better than the other guy did because he was at least able to kill 2 of them. So good on him for that. After that, he did not lose a battle. This right here, though, I think is the most interesting thing that he did. If you would have told me to try Geos against that, I would probably have doubted you, and I probably wouldn't have done it. But now we can see. Now, keep in mind, I've got Relic 2 Zombie, Relic 2 Asajj, and a Relic 7 Watt. I don't know what his Geos are. I don't remember. But they are good enough to take on this team. So that's my most interesting takeaway from how he tackled my teams. And then he cleaned up a solo Revan using Thrawn, a pre-taunt, and a damage dealer here. That makes sense. Fracture Darth Revan, kill him. He took on our Newt team using CLS. We've seen that before. It works quite well. Depending on how quickly you can kill them and whether or not you can regenerate protection on them, you can beat this team with CLS with full banners. He did not get back to full banners, so my guys did pretty well there. Then he took bugs against or his Traya against our bugs. Again, pretty standard. We burned 3 banners. That's what we want from that team. So that team did its job. And then he took a Padme team versus our Shaak Ti team. That's pretty hard counter, I would say. Yeah, that's definitely a hard counter. I'm kind of surprised we bled as many banners as we did, so I'm kind of happy for that. That's not bad. That's not a bad call. But yeah, against the Shaak Ti team, Padme is always an excellent choice. And then again, we've got the Jedi versus Grievous. That's just a hard counter that most people go to. We still bled 3 banners. That's all we asked for from Grievous. He's not going to make people think. That's why he's usually up at the top and not at the bottom. And then to tackle our Night Sister, this guy said, fuck that. I'm going to go hardcore. He used his Sith Empire with a Sith Trooper and HK. That should beat that all day. The cool thing is we bled 5 banners. So it still did its job pretty well, I would say, as far as that goes. Gets first order again. Jedi training Rey, hard counter. Rarely ever do we see our first order be able to beat Rey, but we have seen it, so it does probably come down to modding. There might be some RNG, but typically speaking, this is going to be a pretty straightforward, almost guaranteed counter. Then he took like some leftover separatists against this junk team that we have in the back. Not surprising. This is the one time that we've seen any battle against that. But it looks like it was beaten. I'm not sure how strong his separatists were, but that's a pretty good team right there. If I had Django, I might consider putting something like this on defense to see how it goes, because that could be a really good defensive team. And then against our Dooku, he just used his Grievous and his droids. That should be an overpower all day, I would imagine. Um, and then against our Hux, he used Shock T. That all makes sense. No real surprises there. And then ships. So that's it. That is the defense in review. Not a whole lot to take forward. This was the end of the bracket. I don't know yet if the next GAC championship is going to be 5v5 or 3v3. I don't know if it's going to include ships or not. We'll see. I haven't heard anything. I haven't really looked at the forums or anything. But that's that. So now